Good.
So there it is, and then you just use to move, okay?
Okay. Do you want to put it so that it's on full view, Julian?
I don't, let's see, I mean,
So that we get rid of the extraneous. Yeah. Put it on slideshow view, full screen mode. It's, yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, now, yeah, now we're set.
okay?
Okay, so
To change pictures, you move.
I'll be
forward
spotlighted, and now I'm gonna let people in now.
Okay.
and you
So
Will that include me, Lisa?
we're letting everyone in now.
Okay, great.
And then if Camilla, if you could let people in, if you could click on that as they arrive.
Where is that button?
It'll light up because you're a co-host. It'll light up if somebody comes.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a journey through Black history in miniature. I'm Lisa Martin with Silver Spring Town Center, and we are so happy to have miniature artist Karen Collins with the African American Miniature Museum, based in Los Angeles. She's tuning in with us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we will get started. Before we get started on the program, I know you're going to love this. I wanted to tell you about a few things we have coming up. And we will be recording I'll be recording. Someone else is recording now, but I'll be recording the official. We have done several wonderful programs as we celebrate Black History Month, and our next one will be on Tuesday. It had to be rescheduled because of the big meeting. And please be sure you mute if you're not talking. So we have on Tuesday the 28th at 7 p.m. we have African American culinary traditions. We've been doing these culinary talks now for a year. We've done a variety of them, and we are so excited to have Dr. Cheryl Brissett Chapman hosting that talk, along with her daughter, Chana Brissett, and an array of members of the community talking about their food memories, family food traditions. That's this coming Tuesday. Our next featured artist for our next month's featured artist is henna artist Bhavna Naik, who will be sharing her wonderful henna artistry with us on Monday, March 13th at 7 p.m. And please mark your calendars for our Around the World Bazaar on Friday, March 31st from 5 to 10 p.m. in person inside the Silver Spring Civic Building in the Great Hall and Atrium. We will have 2 performance areas along with we'll have a Bollywood wedding dance party, an array of exhibitors, and some hands-on arts activities, as well as 2 performance areas. In addition to the Bollywood dance party, we're going to have Halau Nahona Hawaii doing Hawaiian music and dance. We'll have Orfea Bulgarian choral music, and all women's comedy show, an array of entertainment, and it's all free and fun and food as well. So join us on Friday, March 31st, 5 to 10 in the Civic Building. I hope to see you there, and mark your calendars for the Silver Spring Blues Festival, always Father's Day Saturday. It will be June 17th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in downtown Silver Spring. And now let's get started with the program. I'm going to start recording now officially. Where's my record button? Thanks for bearing with me here. Well, since it's being recorded, maybe it's not giving me the option. Okay. There's only one recording, I guess. Okay.
I have a little,
It's fine. It's fine. It's recording from you. You guys started the recording. I thought it would be recording to his cloud, but it's recording to ours.
what
Okay.
says ask to unmute here.
Oh, you're okay. You're unmuted.
Okay.
We can
Okay.
hear you. Yeah. And so I was able to let people in, but anyway, welcome to A Journey Through Black History in Miniature in the studio with artist Karen Collins with the African American Miniature Museum based in Los Angeles, but she's internationally known and loved, and she's currently in Albuquerque. And she can tell us more about what she's doing there. Along with welcome Karen. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and just folk artist Karen Collins, her bio, over the course of 24 years has created a pictorial view of Black history through dioramas placed in shadow boxes. From the very beginning of the journey, the Middle Passage to America, up to Barack Obama, Kendrick Lamar, Karen's miniatures bring clarity and vibrance in the telling of Black history. The museum began as a mobile project in the 90s when Karen took her work to schools, libraries, churches, and community centers as a way to bring both the many triumphs and horrors of Black history to a generation of children that sorely needed a sense of self and context. She has continued to work from her workshop at home and has been exhibited at the Museum of Tolerance, the Madam Walker Legacy Center in Indianapolis, the Jazz Museum of Leimert Park, and in libraries and schools throughout the Los Angeles area, including the recent 21 Collections exhibit at the LA Library main branch. As of now, the museum exists only as a mobile project operated from home without a physical space for visitors to go. Karen's dream for the future is to have a permanent location for the more than 50 dioramas she has created so far, a creative space where her work can become a living tradition, where young people can create and learn to express themselves with art, and where her artwork can be preserved for future generations. We're so excited to have you, Karen, and to hear your story and all about your artistry and how it tells, it shares the history, Black history experience. So please take it away. And Karen said she would like to take questions and comments along the way. So feel free to jump in verbally or via chat. Thank you, Karen. I will turn it over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad everyone joined in today. I can't see you, but I hope you could see me. I'm going to tell you a bit about my motivation to make the museum, which was out of desperation and horror and the ugliest thing I had ever seen in life. And that was my son going to prison. Right before graduation, he decides to do his thing. So I was very depressed and just out of it, couldn't function really. And then I thought, what is it that I can do to deter these children from thinking so low of themselves that they would join a gang or do something illegal to land them in prison? And the only thing I could think of, and I love miniatures. I didn't have a dollhouse as a child, but I bought one when I was 40, and everyone loved it. So I started making shadow boxes with small dioramas in them, and they didn't have people in them. I taught myself how to make the dolls. The dolls tell the story for me. And that's how it all started. It gave me a sense of maybe I might be doing something for future generations, that they would learn how strong their people were. and how much they, excuse me, love them and sacrifice for them. And I still say today we owe all of our ancestors, I don't care what your ethnicity, of gratitude for what they did and lived through for us. So the museum is showing African-American children and whoever else wants to learn history, what we went through and the strength and the fortitude to get over that. And I hope it strikes something in them that says, okay, I may live in the projects, I may have had this experience or witnessed this, but you can still be something that you dreamed of that was good and further your community. So that's why I started the museum. It's been on the move for a long time. My husband makes the wooden boxes that house the museum. And we just are on the road traveling. We come to wherever you are, wherever you ask us to come, and show to the children all day long. We usually have, depending on how big the school is, 200 or 300 students that come through the museum, might be set up in a classroom or library. They come through, spend about 20 minutes. I see them, they're taking notes, they're taking pictures. And the little ones draw pictures of what they saw. They might see the dollhouse that I have, and it'll be sitting like this in their picture, but it's making a difference, impressing upon the children that there's something good out there for you and nothing is wrong with you. That's what I tell kids. Don't believe that. You know, we can all improve in certain areas, but there's nothing wrong with you. So, you know, you learn and you move on with life like all of us do. But I want to impress upon them their history. And their history is not of gang banging and killing each other. So I guess I explained the reason why I did created the museum. Any questions so far?
Great. I don't think so. We can go on to the next slide and people can write in the chat or volunteer. Was there someone?
Lisa, can you ask Karen, can you see the slide that's up on the screen right now? It's you in your house. There's the first slide is
Yes.
of you at in the house.
Yes. So go to another picture.
No, explain to them what you're doing because your materials are right in front of you.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I am a self-taught artist, a folk artist. And if you know the definition of folk art, sometimes it looks like a child made it. And I started out like that, but through a lot of repetition and learning myself and my craft from myself, nobody taught me to do anything. I got better and better and better. And these are some of the things that I work with. Pipe cleaners, which hold the appendages of the dolls that I make. You see my little molds right here. I might use one mold and make 3 or 4 others with different expressions. So everybody always wonders, how do you get those people to look like that? That's the way I get, that's my secret. I never told anybody that before. And I make the doll, the head, the trunk, and the appendages and put them together. And then I dress them. I use yarn for hair. I have to put the faces on them, and it takes a long, long time. So that's how I started. When I think about the history that I want to teach things that are not taught in school. They all know who Harriet Tubman is. They all know who Martin Luther King is, which I did do a church on him. They don't know that much about Malcolm X or Thurgood Marshall, or different ones in our community that were not civil rights workers. They were, well, a lot of them were, but they had different things that they did for work. A lot of them were teachers, scholars, lawyers, everything. So it gives them an array to look at that they can work towards. We all can do this, every last one of us. So that's what I talk to the children about. We always have a little talk before the museum starts. I go the day before and train 15 students to be my docents for the day of the exhibit. And they stay with me all day, and I teach them how to purport themselves and how to speak to the people that are coming into the museum, and they take it seriously. And we all have a ball all day. And the teachers tell me they're like rock stars when they leave there because they were included in something special. So we ask for their scholars, but also children that have improved are trying to improve in their grades or their behavior in school. And the teachers tell me that it does make a difference. So that's all I'm after. I use the diaper thing to hold my molds. I bake the clay. I'm using Fimo clay and Sculpey. And I bake them in the oven for 20 minutes at 220. That hardens them. I can put them together. I use pie pans to bake them in. So everything is basic. I get cloth from my house. Sometimes I go to the store and buy, if it has tiny print that I can use as clothing. And I don't know how to sew, but I can look at you and duplicate what you have on. So
Very
that's
good.
how we use. That's how I do it. Should we go to the next slide?
Yes, go to the next slide.
Okay, that's me making someone. And there's the paint that I use to paint their eyes and, if they're smiling or what have you. And then I put the hair on them and dress them. And then they're ready to go to their scene. So that's another thing that I use. Okay, this is of the diorama that I made of Black Lives Matter for the main museum, the main library, 21 collection, which was a collection of 21 tiny museums that they had come there. And we were one of them. And they commissioned us to make Black Lives Matter. What else did I make for them? Kendrick, Lamar. I forget. I'm sorry, it's been so many of them, but it'll come to me. But this is one of the scenes for Black Lives Matter.
Beautiful.
And it's people protesting. This is the lives part of it, where we're at a funeral of one of our children that were maybe murdered by the police or something like that. So that was the lives part. And this is all three together. Trayvon, he's got Skittles and his drink that he went to buy and didn't make it home. And you'll see protesters in back of them. So this box was named Black Lives Matter. So that was one we did for and it was in the Getty Museum in the downtown library. So, okay, we'll go to any questions? No? Okay.
There was a question in the chat asking if you've exhibited in Baltimore at the Visionary Museum or perhaps anywhere in the DC area, DC, Maryland.
No, I haven't. I would love to. I would love to be planted in the Smithsonian. That's where I would love to be planted because it is a good vehicle, especially for younger children. They are just enthused and just really look at it like television. They really do. And they can understand. Children are very visual learners. So when you show them different things, then they have questions. What is this for? And all of them have heard of Black Lives Matter and what it actually means. So I give them a visual, a three-dimensional look at what they're looking at. Okay. Any more questions? No? Okay, we'll go to the next one. This is Madam C.J. Walker. And she was a hair mogul. That's what they called her. She was the only woman of color and only woman that was a self-made millionaire in the United States. She was a philanthropist. She would help out whatever cause. There's W.E.B. Du Bois. There's here we go with the memory loss.
It's okay.
George Washington.
You're doing great.
And what was the abolitionist?
Harriet Tubman?
No, she was after that. She
Sojourner Truth?
No, he's a male.
It was,
Oh, a male. Frederick Douglass?
Yes, God. She gave to, she was, she didn't live during Frederick Douglass' time, but she gave to anti-lynching causes. And she helped buy the YMCA in Indianapolis, Indiana. I didn't know that as a child, but her headquarters is there also. And I grew up going down to her headquarters, which was for Black people, because in Indianapolis, Indiana, there weren't very many places you could do business as lawyers or, you know, professionals. So it had a beauty school in there. It had a beauty shop. It had a barber shop that had someplace to eat. It had offices for all the professional Blacks in Indianapolis, and it had a movie theater. And every Saturday, I lived in public housing that wasn't far from there. So me and my sisters would walk down there on Saturday and pay a nickel and sit in their movie theater. And it is grand. It's just epic that the movie theater. We would sit there and watch cartoons on Saturday and then walk back home. It also had a ballroom. So all the needs of the community, she created that out of the love of her heart. And she was a multi-millionaire.
right.
But we all need to give back to improve our community and the world, really.
Karen, how did you make the wallpaper and all of the?
Now, I bought that. I didn't make that.
So you looked for
I
miniatures?
look for, yes, I look for miniatures. At that time, miniature stores were everywhere. They're not there anymore. You can always go online, maybe to Amazon. They sell miniature furniture there, and that wallpaper I haven't seen since. But I thought of how she lived in her mansion, which I went there last year to her mansion in New York on the Hudson River. It is pristine as it was when it was built in the 20s. And I had to stand outside the gate, but I could see her properties from there. And that was always a dream of mine, to go and see Madam Walker's mansion. Now, my next dream is to get inside next time I go there. Okay, so that's Madam Walker.
Karen, what is the ratio that you use for your miniatures? I dabble in miniature dioramas too, and I use a variety, and I have to get only one kind. You have to get all one kind.
Mine is 5 to 12 inches. 5 inches to 12 inches.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes 1/2 inch if I'm making a food product or something like that. I can, you know, you have to go smaller.
Like
now,
one,
when it
is that
comes
like
to
1
real,
to 12?
beg your pardon?
Is that like 1 to 12? Is it the 1 to 12
Yeah.
size? Yeah.
But I should have said my dolls are usually 5 inches.
Okay. And the
Depending on
reason, I do know the reason that it's hard to get miniature things now. It's because since COVID, it was a supply chain issue.
No, it was long before that.
Oh, even before it started becoming.
Yeah, long
her-
before that. It used to
Okay.
be I could go in like the furniture here, it looks nice, but that's not expensive furniture. You could go and buy that in the average miniature store, but you
Mhm.
can't get it anymore. So, but like I said, Amazon has a good
Mhm.
variety of, my nephew bought me some that are a lot smaller than that. But you can get them from Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. Oh, you
Karen,
do?
that gown, her
Yes,
dress is just beautiful.
I
How did
made
you do
that.
that? I'm impressed.
Yeah, I told you, I can look at you,
Right.
especially period pieces. I love period pieces. And
Mhm.
see what that dress might look like and cut it accordingly, make sure that this is puffed up and join the other parts of the sleeve and, and then put some little pearls around her neck and then fix her hair with the yarn.
Is it based on a historic photo that you saw, or is
No,
this your
but
imagination?
of how she lived.
Okay.
That mansion was just during that period, it was
Mhm.
very ornate. And,
Mhm.
she had French paintings and everything and entertained some of the most important people in the world there,
Mhm.
especially artists, Caruso
Mhm.
and, all kinds of people went there.
Mhm.
So that was during that period. I love
Really
periods.
beautiful.
Um, I love that. I just love it. I'll look at the background instead of the people, just to see how everything should look. But let me go on now. Let's go to the
Okay.
next. Oh,
Oh.
there's her. Yeah. Her face got a little ashy in the thing. That's her. The next one is Malcolm X.
Mm.
Now, his legacy is never taught in the schools. And my thought is, you don't tell me who my person is that influences me.
Mhm.
And he was instrumental in bringing a lot of African Americans out of poverty into doing business. They felt they got them out of the ghettos, everything. And he was a soldier as a Muslim man. And he and the messenger fell out and he went on his way. But this came from a memory I had of visiting a mosque, and it was in a storefront. So I created that, and he's lecturing there to some men and women. You don't see the women on the other side, but in the Muslim mosque, the men sit on one side and the women on the other. And you don't see the FOI military portion. They always guard the doors during a Muslim meeting or ceremony. So that's how I came up on that.
Really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Should we go on?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
there's another
wow.
picture of Malcolm preaching. So, and you see the women on that side, and then we have Elijah Muhammad there, and some of the members that won awards, bestsellers of their magazines or gained notarization in the Nation of Islam. So, and this is someone that's coming to speak, and Malcolm is introducing him. So, you know the characters.
Mhm.
You know what's been done, you know your memory. So you create from there, you
Very
create
good.
from there. Any questions? We'll go next. Okay, this is a portion of, I made a shadow box of Madam C.J. Walker in 3 parts, like Black Lives Matter. And this was her early days as a washerwoman, but she had a daughter. And she felt like she could do better. She wanted to do better. So she moved her family from the South, which was her and the little girl. The dad had died years before that, and started selling hair products that another Black woman made. And eventually she found a chemist, and he helped her make her own hair care product. And she sold it all over the world, really. But it took a while. She married Charles Walker, who was her husband and was familiar with advertising. And he taught her that you use your own image on your products. So Madam Walker had the image of herself on her hair salves and hair products for Black women coming out of slavery. Their hair was very malnourished because of what they ate, you know, the harshness of the environment. So her products helped them grow hair. And she taught a system of dressing the hair. And this helped the Black woman move from being a washer to being, you know, presentable to the people who would hire people. And they really, the women enjoyed it. So she became a multimillionaire doing that. Okay. Go to the next.
Oh,
Okay,
look
and
at
this
that.
is, I work with a resin that you can buy in any hobby shop. And what it is, it's powder that you mix up and it becomes liquid and you pour it into the container. This way, she was on a scrub board washing clothes, but this looks like water, but it's actually resin. So any of you that try to, well, that want to make dioramas, that's one thing you can have. The Middle Passage, that was the ocean. You know, I painted the ocean in, but I put that over it so it would actually look like water. So you use your imagination. Okay, if she was a washerwoman, you should show her washing clothes. So we'll go to the next one.
Oh, love it.
This is Martin Luther King's church. He's preaching a sermon. He's sweating, and he's, you know, if you've ever been to a African-American church, you know, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of singing, there's a lot of joy, and there's a lot of sadness. So he's preaching to a congregation. This doesn't necessarily have to be him doing civil rights. This is just him preaching a sermon that was very moving. So you see the choir back there, and they're standing up. You don't see the choir director, but she's telling them to raise, you know, motioning them to stand up. And then we have the piano player down there, and there's the nurse. If you've ever been to a Baptist church, you know, they have a nurse there because it's so emotional. Someone may be overcome. And in this case, a lady was, and we see another lady fanning her. And when that happened, the nurse puts her finger up to the people know what's going on. But I love this. This was like 27 people in this box. It takes me 5 to 6 hours to make each person. So I made the dolls first before I started making the other things, because that takes the most time with me. So this is his box, Martin Luther King. Yeah. Any questions so far? Now, you know, I'll talk the whole time. This is Thurgood Marshall, and he's in his office, his law office. This was before this was before he was Supreme Court Justice. But the children need to know our ancestors that worked and fought for us to even go to school. You know, he was instrumental in desegregating the schools. So they don't teach that in school. Thurgood Marshall, the first Supreme Court Justice. So I really enjoyed making this one. I started to give him a clerk, but I didn't want anything to distract from him. So Thurgood Marshall. Oh, there's a closer look. I am not perfect, guys, but I can give you a likeness. And usually people can tell who I'm talking about, thank God. But yeah, that's a close-up of him. Okay.
Excuse me, Ms. Collins, may I ask a question?
Sure.
back to Martin Luther King's church. That stained glass window, is that polymer clay also?
No, that is, you're talking about the folded hands?
Yes.
No, that is a piece I got at a secondhand store, but it wasn't of an African-American hand. So I washed it with some kind of something that turned it brown like that.
I love it.
So,
Excellent work.
Yeah, so with me, it has to be, it's not perfect, but it has to be, I'm particular about different things that need to be included. And I thought Black hands need to be in that picture. And if you saw above it, it says Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inside the church. Now the windows around there, I got permission from an artist to let me use that. And it was a picture of some of his artwork that I thought looked like, you know how colorful church windows are. So
Yes.
anyway, I cut those out and put those in there. So you use your imagination and your memory. All of us remember going to church. Everybody remembers going to church and different things that they did in church that was like a ceremony of types. So I remember that I was raised in the Baptist church and then went on to be an Episcopalian. But these are the memories I had of the African-American church.
Beautiful. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, let's go on.
Karen,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Karen,
go
can I
ahead.
ask you a question? Of
Yes.
the Thurgood Marshall, the newspapers, where did you get the articles? And did you shrink, did you reduce them?
Yeah, because they were in books. I tear up all kind of books. If they have something that I need and I've read them, I will miniaturize them, or they're already a miniature. You won't find them on Amazon like that. But if you miniaturize, if you have a copier, you can miniaturize anything. So that's how I did that. But I created this in a bubble, so nobody advised me or anything. So I just picked and what have you, and put what I thought needed to be in there. Now, this is me in one of the classrooms. I had just done the box for Google. I was a Google Doodle one Black History Month. And it was the 60th anniversary of the sit-ins that happened. And I made the four gentlemen that started that at a lunch counter not being served. And that particular box, they gave me the box, they paid dearly for it, but they gave me the box. And that picture went all over the world. Anytime you open your computer on February 1st that year, the beginning of Black History, you saw my shadow box. And everybody wrote about it because it was so unusual that Google would do that. They usually have a doodle. And when they called me, I thought it was somebody kidding me. And he said, no, I'm serious. I said, well, I'm not a doodler. And he said, no, you do. We want you to do what you do. And so I made history there to be the first. Okay, let's go to, and the older ones you see, do I see any in this picture? Well, the teachers come in, I don't see any of my docents there, but I will stand and tell them things, or if they have questions, all the docents are around to answer questions. So that's just one class. I don't see how one teacher can teach 20 and 30 children, but they would come in and we'd give them time and they loved it. These are some of my docents. These were the younger kids, and we gave them awards, achievement awards, because the kids come in and they stay all day with me. And of course they love it, and during that time I would buy a bunch of pizzas and, we'd sit around and talk. So those are some of my docents. Now these are the docents from the last picture, and there's the Google box right there. So they're all young people. They're our future, and they have to know their history. They have to. Everybody has to, so that they will not let it repeat what has happened so far in America. So you see one down there of the Middle Passage. That's a small one. I have a big one also. So we just take them through history so they'll know who they are, who their people were, and that could apply. All of these kids have ancestors that fought for them, that sacrificed for them. They didn't just happen one day. So that needs to be explained, I think. So they seem to enjoy it. Oh, there's some more of the kids. And they're looking at King's box there. They just look at these things like they're television or something. They stand right there and stare because they're taking in what they're seeing. Children are visual learners, and that's what they do. So I love it when I give a show.
Yeah, you can tell they love it too.
Yeah, they're mesmerized. And
Yeah.
they're pointing their fingers and everything. I think we ran out of pictures, did we?
Is it the last one?
I think so.
Maybe.
Are there any questions from anybody? How long have we been going?
We
Karen?
have time for some discussion, questions
Yes.
and more discussion.
Mhm.
Camilla, did you?
Yes, Karen, the demographics of your neighborhood, it's changing.
Yes.
And we were talking about how you are trying to address also the needs of young Hispanic Americans in your
Yeah.
neighborhood. Can you tell people something about that?
Well, Compton, which is where I service first before I go anywhere. Blacks are 30% of the population in Compton now. 70% are Hispanic. So what I want to do is incorporate, like I bought them a dollhouse that is for the Hispanic children, because I want them to see them. So we live next to each other. They should see each other in the work. So I want to do quinceañeras, in the backyard, and fix the doll houses up to look like them. Maybe Day of the Dead will be on the fireplace, and just make something that they'll be proud of, and put that in there too, because they always ask me, Miss Karen, where's ours? Where's ours? So now I have to. I feel it in my spirit that they need to be included in what I do. So, yeah. Any more questions? Ooh, it's 5:49. My goodness. No questions? No?
There was a question about the Baltimore Visionary Art Museum. Are you familiar with that?
No.
I think that would be perfect for her, right, Lisa?
Yes, I think they would love to have you exhibit there. And I mean, I won't be surprised if you get invited to the Smithsonian.
Oh, you know what?
It would be great.
My prayer is that even if I'm not with the exhibit, I want it somewhere where it can be seen and learned from. I am 72 years old. I have some time to go, but I want it somewhere where the people can see it from all over the world coming to the Smithsonian. So, but I would be very happy to have my own space, my own building with the critical race theory business going on. I want some place where parents voluntarily bring their children to learn history. And, I don't feel comfortable bringing it into a school where it's not wanted.
Mhm.
So that's my purpose for really wanting, and be able to teach the kids and have them come someplace and have fun and learn and stuff like that. But anyway, until then, I'll keep on moving, keep on traveling.
Can you
So,
tell them what you're doing in Albuquerque this week?
talking to you guys. Talking to you guys, and I made 2 exhibits for this weekend to imagine what Timothy Nelson, Dr. Timothy Nelson is going to talk about, which is Blackdom, which I never heard before. It was a community of Black people escaping Jim Crow and the harshness of the South after slavery. And they came to New Mexico and built a whole community, everything that they needed, mailboxes, post offices, churches, schools. They had their own homesteads. They grew their food. They even had oil wells that some of them had struck in New Mexico. That's something I had never heard of Blackdom until this gentleman that's going to speak tomorrow is going to talk to you about Blackdom. And I was just floored. You know, we know certain things, but certain things still we haven't heard of. So,
how similar is it to the Tulsa? Remember when we went to Tulsa? How
oh my
similar
God.
that was very powerful. Tell them.
Oh, that was heartbreaking. To go, we went to Tulsa, to Greenwood, which was the business district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, for Blacks that migrated there, and built a city with houses and everything. They had hotels, just everything, movie theaters. They had everything that a business would want, and in Greenwood, and it serviced their population. And we went to one of the cultural centers, and they were having a talk with us. Camilla was there.
Yeah, I was there.
And telling us about Tulsa and their struggles there, trying to keep the community together. And they also said that the government there, the mayor and the governor, withheld their funding for that center because they didn't want the story told.
Right.
Well, it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
It's everywhere now. And it needs to be everywhere. And I believe it's hard, but if we don't learn from the past, then we're doomed to let it happen again. And we are. We can't claim ignorance anymore. Okay? We see it, we see how it's done, and so we can't do that anymore. And that means getting your mind ready for progress. And children need to know it. We need to know it. Everybody. So we don't let that happen again. Tomorrow, I hope that some of you can Zoom in, or I know they're recording this. And I hope they'll record his lecture on Blackdom. And I bet you, if I bet anybody right now, if they knew about Blackdom, they did not know.
Yes. Right.
And I didn't know. So it'll be very interesting. I met a lot of people since I've been here, and I really have appreciated being my work being highlighted. I created 2 shadow boxes on Blackdom, their homesteads, and one, Mr. McJerkin discovered some ancient bones here in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, and but never got recognized for it. Well, he's going to tell you about that. So we all need to know our history. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'll also want to give a shout out to the Peaceful World Foundation, who have helped me tremendously financially to keep going. It costs a lot, you know, when you do what I do and it comes out of your pocket. But the Peaceful World Foundation has really made a difference, and they believe in my program, and other people that I've helped along the way, or they've helped me. So thank you guys. I told you I could run my mouth forever.
Oh, you're wonderful.
Yeah, Audrey has a question for you.
Yes.
I just want you to know that your exhibit is truly has been wonderful. It's been wonderful just seeing it. And I just had the question because the detail that you had in the Malcolm X, what made you decide to portray Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad? And, you know, you depicted with the women on one side and the men.
Because I went there. They used to have a mosque in Indianapolis, and out here in California, I would go to the mosque because I thought I wanted to be a Muslim, and that's how they had it. I knew how it, from memory, that's how the mosque was set up.
Okay.
So I added pictures and posters and things like that, but it was important for me to show the FOI, the Fruits of Islam, that protect their buildings when they're in session, and the guest speaker and Malcolm and the people in the
mosque.
Yeah, in the mosque. So
Thank you so much.
thank you. Anybody else?
Any other questions? I know we have a friend on from the African American National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Okay.
We have artists on here, including some miniature artists.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
yeah, so there's all kinds of folks that are that came to hear you, Karen.
Yes, I just want to say that was a fantastic presentation, and you will get your spot at the Smithsonian. I'll be looking forward. I'll be looking for you. I'll be looking for you.
Tell them we want the African American Miniature Museum in here for our children. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Are you a miniature artist?
No, I'm just an admirer of art.
Oh, okay.
I was just thrilled to see this advertised. I've never seen anything like it. Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Join us, Debbie.
Well, Karen is going to be on the East Coast in September. We're going to have her work at the City Lore Museum in New York. I hope you all come up to see it. We're going to have an exhibition of doll artists. And so we adopted each other in Tulsa.
Yes.
That was done. That was a done deal.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And we've been planning. We have a doll exhibit up in Baltimore now. And but we wanted to move several of her pieces, at least 2 of them, to New York in the fall. And we're going to do our best to petition to get you in at the Smithsonian as well.
Oh, thank you. That's where then the world can see it. It's not just so little anymore.
I'm right here near Andrews Air Force Base.
Okay.
So I would definitely be looking out. I go to the African American museums and the ones
Miniature
in
museum.
Wax in Baltimore.
Oh,
but
yeah, okay.
I'll be looking for you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate
Debbie,
it.
you can help by writing in to the Smithsonian and tell them you saw Karen's work. You know, more people that advocate,
right.
It'll help get her out there. Yeah,
fantastic.
That would be a dream come true.
Right. Yeah. Great. And there is someone from the museum, from the staff, who is on this call watching. So I'm sure she'll have something good to say. And I know, Karen, you are with a friend there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you're working on a project there. Hello, Julian.
Julian Carrillo. This is he's too young to be my brother, but this is my little nephew. And we have been together since 2019.
2019.
Oh, he's been so helpful. And I'm not the best with technology. So he has really helped me get the word out and go and talk to people like this. You get more people like that. So Julian is just, now tell him your what do you do here at the museum?
Sure, very quickly, just good evening, everybody. Yeah, Karen and I have become collaborators in some ways and friends. Very lucky to say that. But I'm a folklorist and anthropologist by training, and I work at the Maxwell Museum of Anthropology here. It's part of the University of New Mexico here in Albuquerque. And today we're actually hanging out in person because Karen will be part of this reception tomorrow, an in-person reception next to her 2 new dioramas. As she said earlier, one is on Black Thumb, New Mexico, and then George McJunkin, this historical cowboy and natural scientist that has a really important part in the history of New Mexico. But long story short, I also work with the Peaceful World Foundation that you mentioned earlier. And we also have Tamara Randall here, who also happens to live in Albuquerque. She's part of the Peaceful World Foundation as well. I don't know if you want to say hi, but
Hi, everyone.
long story short, the Peaceful World Foundation has invited Karen to give talks as well as on Zoom, and it is recorded on there as well on YouTube. You can find it there. And she was given the Peace Builder Award. It was a special award, first time ever, given to someone like Karen, who has worked 20 plus years to build peace, of course, in her way, but advance social justice and create a sense of belonging and all of these things that she does with her project. So yeah, one last thing, just a quick invitation. As Karen said, tomorrow, after the reception where we'll be at, Dr. Timothy Nelson, a historian who's coming out with a book on Black Thumb in June of this year, actually, is going to be with us at the University of New Mexico in our museum. And I am going to put the Zoom camera. So if you want to join us tomorrow, it would be great. It's at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So that's 7 o'clock East Coast, right? And I'll be glad to, ask any questions that you have. So I'll be the one on Zoom tomorrow, projecting his lecture on Black Thumb.
And it's fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating.
That would be
Julian,
great.
can
Are you
you put-
able to put it in the chat, Julian?
Yes. So let me share the screen really quickly.
Oh, okay, great.
And I'll show you what we're talking about. 1 second here. Okay, so this is our museum page, Maxwell Museum of Art. So this is what we're talking about, and I will gladly share the link here. But that's Dr. Nelson, and that's his full name of the lecture. The significance of the Afro frontier. That's a concept that he coined. And it is very important. 1 second here. Well, I don't know if that's blocking.
Yeah, I think that's
Might be blocking the chat, huh? Okay, right here, if you click here, it will take you directly to the registration. All right. And there's a summary there of what Black Thumb was and what the lecture is going to be about. So and it's now in the chat, I think, right? There you go. Please join us if you can. And if
Yes.
not, it's going to be recorded. Yeah.
Great. And so what is it? Did you put a link? You put the link there for folks to sign up for the Zoom.
Exactly. In the chat. Yeah. Just that link, follow it and join. Yeah.
Or are there any,
Julian, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, are there any final questions or comments?
Julian, can you tell her about her Folk Life Award, the one that she got 2022? Tell them about that one too. That was a big one.
Yeah. So Karen here, as you know now, has been gaining more and more visibility and recognition, which is super great. And last year, the American Folklore Society, which I'm a part of, and Camilla too, right? As I understand.
And
of
now me.
course. And now Karen, yeah, she joined. She's a member as well. AFS has many sections, and one of them is the African American Folklore section, and they give a special award in honor of I think ethnomusicologist and who played a really important role. Is it
And
John Wesley? the
John
third?
Weslly worked the
Work,
third.
the third, thank you.
Mhm.
And so Karen was awarded this very special recognition last
Mhm.
year, which allowed her to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We met there, and Camilla as well, and present on her work. So this award is really, really important because it provides people like Karen, right, and others opportunities to continue to share their work.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the award.
And the nice thing about it, Karen, and we just got a memo from the president of AFS, the recent one, Marilyn White. She came, she was a very tall.
Right, I
we
remember
went to
her.
dinner?
Uh-huh.
And because you won this award, it opens it up to people who are not necessarily trained as folklore, but are doing the work within their
Yes.
community. So you're a pioneer once again.
Ah, well, good, because I know it's a lot of people out there with a lot of creativity. Then I have no formal training. If I
Right.
can do it, they can do it.
Well, we're very proud. Well, you know I'm
Thank
proud.
you. Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
we're honored. Go ahead, Camilla.
I'm sorry, Lisa, if people would like to learn more about Karen, there is also an article about her in the American Craft Council. The Smithsonian Folklife Center also has their African American Craft Initiative has done an article on her, and I think there's a third one. All of them came out within the last year. She's fascinating, and you can see down to earth. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll let you go, everybody, but thank you so much.
Bye, Julian. Julian,
Bye,
us back.
guys. Love
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. This has been such a fascinating time with you, Karen, and I hope we can meet in person when you're here on the East Coast. We would love to invite you back also for a program.
Absolutely. Anytime I'm ready to go if you can pay for it.
Great.
I don't have the money for that, but I'll come, whatever you want me to do.
Great. So you're going to be are you going to be in Washington, D.C. in September or just New York?
It's up to Camilla.
Oh, okay.
It's her, well, we know for sure that her work, and we're still working out about getting her, trying to figure out the funding to get her here. So if anybody has any ideas, please contact us, but we definitely want her on exhibit. We think it'll lead to other things for her and certainly enlighten the children that we know will be coming through.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, your artistry is an important voice, telling so many important stories from Black history and all American history. It's important to us all. So thank you so much again. And I love just looking at all of the pictures. If you go to the website of the African American Miniature Museum, .com, you can see some of these photos and more, and you can see them up close and zoom in on them. And I think you'll enjoy all the wonderful details. The expressions on the people's faces also, I told you, is just amazing. It's really so subtle. There's it's not so detailed, but then there's something of the feeling. You can the feeling from it is just incredible. You really convey so much depth in your work. It's really wonderful, Karen. And
Thank you. I just imagine what I'd do, how I would be happy or sad or frightened.
Right.
And that's what you make the faces like.
Right, and then it translates through your artistry and it comes through there. And are you working on a current project, by the way? That's usually a question.
I just finished this one, and that took me but it was simple, but it's the details is everything. But we have one on Blackdom, two. One on Mr. Majerkin, and one on the homestead of Blackton will be shown tomorrow on exhibit here in the museum, the Maxwell Museum.
Oh, great. And eventually, hopefully the
stay-
photos will be on your website too for
Yes,
folks to
yes, but
see.
they'll be here at the Maxwell for a while. Mhm.
In Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And you know what? I would like to leave them everywhere.
Mhm.
I think that's a great idea.
A teaching tool.
Right, right.
Well, thank
Well,
you, ladies.
Thank you again,
I'm gonna
Camilla,
finish my
Juliana,
whiskey.
especially Karen, our speaker tonight, artist Karen
Are
Collins
they
with the
still
African
online?
American Miniature Museum. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, guys. I'm gonna get him to come and turn this off. I don't know.
Okay.